Okay, I'm just gonna rant for a few minutes here. Basically, it's gonna be about the hypocrisy of the left, Obama, and those who call themselves liberals. I mean, they've appropriated that word from defenders of true freedom, the classic liberals. Today's progressives or modern liberals either don't know the first thing about freedom, or they don't care about true freedom, in which case they need to stop using that word to describe themselves. It's just so crazy. These people, they actually try to take away individual liberties. They're for the government taking more people's money, they're for ever increasing taxes and regulations on businesses. They're for gun control. They're often for government takeover of entire industries, socialism, which means ultimately power over the individual. They're for bureaucracies that make decisions for us without even knowing us. They're even for less freedom of speech. They want campus speech codes and, use a bad word against someone they like. They have a huge problem with it. Oh, but use against someone who doesn't share their views and they don't care. Call Sandra Fluke a slut, you're a horrible person. But say the same thing about Laura Ingraham or Sarah Palin's daughters. I mean, they'll do that. They'll say that. As long as it's not someone they like, it's okay to use not nice words. But anyway, the truth is that they don't care if they're losing their freedom or taking away other people's freedoms until it comes to a freedom they actually care about. They want to do drugs. They want the state recognize their marriage. They want free abortion on demand. And then all of a sudden they start complaining about loss of freedom. The meme where the girl's saying, banning weed doesn't stop anyone from getting it. We need to ban guns so people won't get them. I mean, when it's the freedom they themselves care about, that's important to them personally. And they're all about individual liberty. The truth is you wouldn't be voting for Obama if you cared about freedom, plain and simple. We have someone here who is actually endorsed by the Communist Party, communists are so notorious for allowing people their personal freedom and rights, right? He has a state senator spoke about eventually wanting to move us to a single-payer universal healthcare system and then distanced himself from that statement when he was running for president. When he was younger, he attended Socialist Scholars of America conferences. He was friends with Bill Ayers, a domestic terrorist turned college professor, who says his only regret is not setting off more bombs. He associated with groups, people who would try to get as many people in area on welfare as possible, leading to financial chaos in the state. These people were anti-capitalist. They wanted to bring down our economic system, kind of break the system from within. So, he knew these people, and he was he was actually one of the people who back in the 90s was trying to get banks to lend out mortgages to people who couldn't afford them. Most of his former clients were foreclosed on. That was the type of practice that led to the housing crisis and the economic crash in 2008. How some people say they think there's something more sinister than naivety or incompetence going on. Sometimes I do wonder myself. This is the guy who heard anti-American rhetoric for years and decades, such as "Goddamn America" from his minister. This is a guy who spoke to a group of clergy saying that the American government was racist and there was less relief for Katrina than for New York after 9/11. Because there were so many black people down in New Orleans. He said that was the reason. But New York after 9/11 and Florida after Hurricane Andrew, they got the Stafford Act waived for them. The Stafford Act is saying that you have to match 10% of the funds the government gives you for disaster relief. And places hit by Katrina got that as well, but Obama was saying it didn't, that they didn't get the Stafford Act waived because there's so many racists in the government. The funny thing was, though, that at the time it was up for Congress to vote on, the first time it was up, he was one of the few senators who voted against it. So, you have this guy who's a completely hypocritical, blatant liar, and he associated with a lot of radicals. He's someone who might actually be against American values, not just incompetent, but anti-American, wanting to fundamentally transform the country, making it something completely different, from what the Founding Fathers imagined and what the, American dream was supposed to be. I don't like making this leap in my mind. I keep wanting to believe he simply doesn't know what he's doing, but I don't know. Look at the tape. There's a video clip of him when he didn't realize his microphone was still on, of him telling the Russian president that he would have more flexibility after the election. So he doesn't want to tell the American people, doesn't really want them to know what he wants to do with Russia until after he's reelected, and he can basically do whatever he wants because he doesn't have to worry about approval. So that's scary. That's what's scary to me. That's why I've gotten very serious with trying to convince people whenever I can that a second term for Obama is truly frightening. I'm really concerned, and I don't care anymore if somebody thinks I'm crazy or somebody gets offended. I don't care. This is too serious to worry about. I don't want to believe it. I used to really like Obama. I didn't think he was so bad. Slowly but surely, though, I began to recognize the truth. People in his administration and people who helped him get where he is, it's not difficult to imagine that they've got a radical agenda. There is evidence. This is not name-calling. I mean, for crying out loud at this point, to call him a socialist or Marxist, that's not name-calling. That's based on evidence, and that he's a liar and a hypocrite. That's fact. This isn't saying, oh, he's stupid, oh, he has big ears, blah, blah, blah. This is based on facts. This is based on evidence. Truth. I don't think Obama is stupid at all, but I do think he thinks the American people are. For example, these are just a couple of examples here. He tries to claim that businesses who don't want to cover contraception or sterilization because it's against their religion are taking away people's rights. Sorry, but I didn't realize not paying for, not covering the cost of what was going on in someone's bedroom was taking away their rights. This is the hilarious thing about the left, and it goes back to them not truly caring about freedom. They want the government to leave them alone, stay out of their bedrooms, stay out of their personal choices. But they want business owners and taxpayers to subsidize their choices. Federal funding for abortion, contraception mandate, that infringes upon someone else's personal freedom, their money, their choices. But they don't care. That's not a freedom they're concerned with. Anyway, Obama says stuff like this. And it says you're taking people's rights away. Just a crazy, exaggerated, emotional argument, and unfortunately people buy it. I get it. He says things very convincingly. He's like that despicable. John Edwards in that sense that you just want to hang on his every word. You gotta get past that. You gotta get past the emotion here and realize what the issue actually is. Why on earth should you be telling business owners and organizations how to spend their own money, especially if it's something that goes against their values? Doesn't that infringe upon their rights? And another crazy strawman argument he had was in the "you didn't build that" speech. Same as what Elizabeth Warren, a candidate for Senate in Massachusetts, who hopefully won't win if you live in Massachusetts, re-elect Scott Brown. She would say, you gotta pay your taxes, give back to society, you had infrastructure to get you to where you are. It's so stupid because their opponents are anarchists, their opponents aren't even libertarians, they're not saying no taxes. So what she and Obama are doing is arguing a position that isn't their opponent's. But he says things like this to manipulate people. The crowd is cheering as he yells, "You didn't build that. Someone else made that happen." You get people on the internet posting or reposting quotes from him saying, "You can't take away a woman's rights and say it's because of your religion." And they're writing, "That's why he has my note. That's why he has my vote in November." He's really getting people convinced. What we all have to do in November is show them that we're not stupid. We've got to learn the truth, and those of us who have learned it keep spreading it. We conservatives are really going all out at this point. We understand that we're at a turning point. This election is really important. So a lot of us, we're not too concerned with making people angry. Scratch that. I want to make people angry. I want everyone to get angry at this current administration. I want everyone to get angry enough to vote Obama out of office. Now, I want to finish off by saying, if you consider yourself a liberal, but you aren't a Marxist, and you aren't anti-American, and you hate how so many members of the left say awful things, I came up with this phrase, I say to myself, conservatives want liberals to change their minds, liberals want conservatives to die. If you're fed up with people who would edit someone's Wikipedia page to call her racial slurs just because she's a black conservative, if you're done with people who call for Ann Romney to commit suicide, if you're done with people who say they hope everyone at the Republican National Convention drowns in a flood, if you're done with people who message someone on the internet they disagree with telling her they hope she gets raped, you need to come over to the right side. Join us. learn more examples from history of left's hypocrisy, especially in the media. Learn about how they, for instance, go on and on about Republicans' gaffes, but will keep praising Democrats for how intelligent and amazing they are, even when they say and do stupid things too. If you're tired of the lack of personal responsibility, have Team Obama, instead of owning up to the fact that Obama didn't perform well in last week's debate, and Romney had really stood his ground and showed they had a backbone, instead of admitting that, they came up with ridiculous excuses like altitude sickness, Romney's secret handkerchief, and John Kerry for not simulating Romney well enough in practice debates. If you're tired of that bullshit, join us. Learn our free market solutions to a lot of society's ills. Learn why capitalism shouldn't be equated with the exploitation of the masses. Learn that conservatives are not all white, cis, straight, rich Christian males. You don't have to associate with a side who will message a gay conservative or Republican and call him or herself loathing. You don't have to consider yourself one of the people who calls black conservatives Uncle Tom and House Negro. I've even seen things like an idiot messaging a Republican atheist, telling her she isn't a proper atheist for being a Republican. And of course you hear stupid things all the time like, a woman voting Republican is like a chicken voting for Colonel Sanders, or black conservatives are basically Jewish Nazis. If you don't believe in that, if you're finished with that, come to us. You don't belong with the left. If you're done with Obama doing despicable things like covering up the Fast and Furious scandal using executive privilege, hiding or dismissing things in his past, distracting all of us with Romney's tax returns, if you're done with him acting like a celebrity, jetting off to, like celebrity in chief, basically jetting off to Las Vegas for a campaign event right after the Libya fiasco, not attending intelligence briefings, for 6 days before the terrorist attack happened. If you're tired of instances like when he recently appeared on The View instead of meeting with foreign leaders, then, you gotta come to our side and show him that you're not stupid. Don't let him manipulate you into voting for him because he has charisma. Don't let him distract you by flip-flopping on issues like gay marriage, which the federal government isn't going to do anything about anyway, and telling you Republicans want to take away your birth control. Show him you're smarter than that. Come to our side. You'll see that conservatives are very diverse. There are conservatives who care about the environment, who want to leave the definition of marriage up to religious organizations and individuals while having civil unions that are equal, for everyone, take the place of government marriage. The conservatives are pro-weed. You'll see that not every conservative is religious, and not every religious conservative, not everyone who is conservative and religious is Christian. Not every conservative is rich or even middle class. And there are plenty of, minorities that are conservative females, let's say, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender conservatives, different people with all different ethnic backgrounds. So I say, if you're done with the left's bullshit, join us. And if you truly care about personal freedom, not just freedom when it comes to doing things you yourself want to do, but freedom for all, come to us. I left some links at the bottom for you to check out. Thank you.